Hey, what's up, guys? This is Nick from the Men with Widget, and I'm here to start off a new series called the Edison Diaries. The whole point of the Edison Diaries is simple. Take an Edison deck, I talk about the list that I'm going to play it through 3 straight games, and then we're going to, or matches, I should say, 3 straight matches, and then we see how we feel about the list moving forward. I'm going to be keeping track of all my stats throughout all these videos, and the whole goal is to just really get a good feel of the Edison format and try out some new lists and really get my opinion and thoughts on different decks. I might have some guests sometimes, I might have some interesting wild off the wall choices, so it should be a lot of fun. So starting off today, we've got a bit of a brew that I've been working on that I've been having a lot of fun with, called JinzoMachinaSalvoTown, or JMST for short. And it's very simple. It's just a Chimera Tech Overdragon, Future Fusion, Overload Fusion, Limit Removal style OTK deck with Jinzo and Jinzo Returner, the Machina package, Black Salvo, and Gear Town. And it's all wrapped up into one really fun deck. So let's give you the card by cards. Starting off with 2 Ancient Gear Children Dragons. These cards are the 3000 beaters that you get off Gear Town. Now, I choose to only run 2 because I'm running a Machina Force instead of the 3rd. And the reason why I'm doing that is because it's very rare that you actually get all 3 Ancient Gear Children Dragons on the field in one turn. But it is more likely that you want to be able to play a Machina Gear Frame and search up a 1-card discard to bring back a Fortress. Next up is Black Salvo. So this card's in here because it makes easy level 7 synchro monsters from returning a Dakoichi in your graveyard to the field. So the main 2 that we go into are Black Rose Dragon, so that one's obvious, right, blow up the field, or Ancient Fairy Dragon, which can pop around Gear Town. Now, you have to fail to search to get the Gear Town effect to go through, but it's totally worth it. You still gain the 1000 life points, get a 3000 attack point beater, plus the 2100 attacker and Ancient Fairy Dragon. Who knows what else you can conjure up that turn. It's very powerful, trust me. Next up, we have 3 Card Trooper. Or 3 Card Trooper, just 1 Guard Trooper, but it mills 3. And that's the main purpose of it, just a machine that puts more machines into the graveyard. 2 Cyber Dragon. This card's just necessary for a machine deck that plays Chimera Tech Overdragon. Dark Arm Dragon, pretty much our only non-machine monster in the entire deck. And the reason why we're playing it here today is because we have a lot of different ways to put darks into our graveyard, like Black Salvo, Dakoichi, Jinzo, and Jinzo Returner. But also they are really easy to manipulate in the graveyard as well. So like Jinzo Returner returns Jinzo to the field, so it basically keeps you at 3 if you need to do it that way. Or Black Salvo removes 1 from the graveyard. Future Fusion can set you up to have exactly 3 in the graveyard, or Overload Fusion could also set you up to have exactly 3. So Darkroom Dragon is very live as a boss monster that just pushes for lethal. Like I said, we're like an OTK deck, so you run a lead into that. Next up is Triple Dakoichi. It's probably the weakest card in the deck, but you just have to play it because of Black Salvo. It's not terrible to set as a flip monster, but most of the time you just want to discard it or send it to the graveyard. Next up are the Jinzo package. I'll just talk about these all at once. Jinzo Returner, when sent to the graveyard, returns a Jinzo from your graveyard to the field, but destroys it at the end step. That card's the amount of damage you can push out by sending a couple Jinzo Returners to the graveyard in one turn and bringing back Jinzos is just insane, and we have a lot of different ways to do that. Here's the Machina package. So we have Machina Force, Machina Fortress times 3, and Machina Gear Frame times 3. So Gear Frame is the Strato / Union monster, Fortress is the boss monster, and Force is the 1-card discard I was talking about earlier. Finally, we have Triple Scrap Recycler to wrap up the monster lineup. And I love this card. I think it's underplayed, and I think it's very powerful. It's basically an Armageddon Knight. So when it's normal summon or special summon, you can send 1 machine monster from your deck to the graveyard. Any machine. So we're talking, you can send a Children Dragon to thin your deck. Cyber Dragon to set up Overload Fusion. Dakoichi to set up Black Salvo. Jinzo to set up Jinzo Returner, or Jinzo Returner to return a Jinzo back in a fortress to return to the field. All of those are just insane options in my opinion, and having access to something so just word I want to use is just versatile, because it's basically this insane starter this deck needs to just like set you up for that like turn 2 turn 3 OTK. First by lineup, I'm just going to go through these pretty quick since they're all pretty self-explanatory. We have Future Fusion, Triple Gear Town, Giant Trunade for OTK purposes, double Gold Sark to search up Future Fusion, Overload Fusion, or Limiter Removal, Heavy Storm, Limiter Removal, Overload Fusion, and then 2 Terraforming to search up the 3 Gear Town. Our extra deck is 2 Chimeritic Fortress Dragon. This is necessary for monsters, or for machines. 2 Chimeritic Overdragon. This is the OTK packet, or OTK card we reveal off of Future Fusion. And the reason why we play 2 is because there are times where you Future Fusion to send a bunch to the graveyard, but for whatever reason it doesn't kill your opponent that turn. Overdragon hits the field, blows up, and then you still have an Overload Fusion in your deck. And if you don't play the second Overdragon, then it's not a live card. But I want it to always be live, so I play 2. And then we just have a bunch of synchros. The 7s are the only ones who really make, but these just randomly may come up. So Catastor, 2 Ancient Fairy Dragon, Black Rose, Brayonak, Colossal Fighter, Goyo Guardian, Red Dragon Archfiend, Stardust Dragon, Thought Ruler Archfiend, and then X-Saber Urbellum. This is another 7 that can maybe come up, but it's very unlikely. And then for side, we have 2 DD Crow and Soul Release for our Graveyard Hate package. 2 Mausoleum, 2 Vanity's Fiend, Mausoleum of the Emperor, and Terraforming is this mid-range control package. So the 2 Vanity's Fiends shut down the special summon heavy decks while you just take advantage of it. Mausoleum of the Emperor allows you to tribute summon Jinzo, Vanity's Fiend, Machina Fortress, Ancient Gear, Children Dragon. This just lets you pull ahead. And then the third Terraforming just kind of seals it together, getting you either Gear Town or Mausoleum Emperor on time. Then we have Lightning Vortex as a good catch-all. MST for back row hate. 2 Mask Restrict for like the Monarch decks or the Frog decks. Rivalry of the Warlords for decks that don't play all similar type. And then finally 2 Royal Decree if the Giant Trunade, Heavy Storm, and MST are not enough, alongside the triple Jinzo you play, and you need 2 more traps. Stoppers, I guess. Then you can side in these decrees as well. So that is the main deck here. Side deck and extra deck for JinzoMachinaSalvoTown, aka JMST. So if you guys are ready to get into the games, I am as well. So let's do this. Alright guys, this is the first match here of the Edison Diaries here for JMST. So let's see. Looks like we are on the play. So in this deck, you always sort of Gold Sark for Future Fusion, or Overload Fusion or Limiter Removal, but we already have those 2, so. Alright, so we're going to go in with Card Trooper here. Activate Card Trooper. We could have Machina Fortress, but I like holding on to Machina Fortress when I can. Let's press some pretty good mills though. We hit a Jinzo, a Black Salvo, and a Machina Fortress. So now we can beat over their Stratos. And then I think we just pass here. Alright, so they play the Ocean they searched up, obviously killing my Card Trooper. Draw a card off Card Trooper. So here's where things get nutty. We get to get Future Fusion.
And let's see how crazy we're willing to go here. I think I'm thinking about what... So we're going to start off by doing this. Opponent's got nothing. So we reveal the Over Dragon, and now we dump all of the machines from our deck to the graveyard. I don't think we actually send all of them. I think we end up leaving like a couple gear frames and a force. That's just like if this back row somehow stops us at this point. I just want to have something in my deck that can still win the game. We'll just fast forward through this. Pitch all those machines. 3 Jinzo come back. We'll set for the second gear town. We don't even need to actually overload fusion for the game here because we have limited removal. Almost certainly with triple Jinzo on the board, my opponent can't do anything. So this is a little bit of a rules thing that comes up here. We had lethal. Our opponent tried to chain enemy controller. Gajiltron Dragon doesn't actually allow us to do that, or allow them to do that. So they're gonna rewind to Jinzo attack, tap, or put it into defense. But I'm gonna, because normally when, like, this is the complicated thing about like allowing takebacks is, I still have the removal for lethal. But here we are. So I sideboard thinking that they're like hero beat Diva hero or something, when in reality the enemy controller should have been the dead giveaway that they were frog hero. So I think in game 2 we're a little bit misboarded, but we'll see how this goes. So we're on the draw. And our opening hand is all monsters, but we're a pretty monster heavy deck, so that's not too uncommon. So we're probably thinking about what we can do here. We could always Cyber Dragon sack for Jinzo, which is what we end up doing here. And then we attack. I guess we terraforming for Gear Town first. Didn't remember that one, but grab the Gear Town. Oh, I do go for Fortress here. Okay. That's a good play, I think. And then they have the Gores, the Malicious Edge. This is really rough, but having Fortress to kill Gores. You're macking a Force because we're great. Pop around Gear Town. They have the Battle Fader into the Dark Dust Spirit. Now we don't really have a whole lot going on. Draw the Gear Town. Sure, whatever. We go to 3K. Jinzo does nothing. And he has the Dark Dust Spirit, so we actually just scoop there. I remember the Dark Dust Spirit kind of just outs the Fortress pretty cleanly. So now we're boarded in for Frog Hero. And we're on the play, and our hand's pretty sweet. So they're gonna set up a dupe lock here. Future Fusion sent a whole bunch of stuff. All right, and then triple Jinzo into, we had exactly 3 darks engraved because the triple Jinzo returner, and that is good enough for game. So that's round 1 against Frog Hero. That was a 2-0, so I'll see you in the next round. All right, here, match 2. This time we are on the draw, or I guess going second. I think in Magic terms a lot because that's another game that I play, so I do apologize if I mix up my terminology from time to time. So yep, we're here against Gladiator Beasts, and they're going to lead off with a typical Gladiator Beast start of Laquari and couple back row. I'm not really too worried about it, to be honest, because our hand looks pretty good for this. We're just going to put this in fast forward, actually, so we can get... So I set the Dekoichi, so we'll actually pause that here. I set the Dekoichi because in my mind, I'm afraid of my opponent going... I wanted to get the Dekoichi into the graveyard. And I assumed what my opponent would do is play a thing that isn't Murmillo, attack into the Dekoichi, Dekoichi dies, then they go search up Murmillo, pop Cyber Dragon, which I'm fine with, because Cyber Dragon's kind of like a bad card for you in some ways, because you need to be playing it, but it's also like enables Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon for your opponent. Unfortunately, they play the Murmillo, attacking the Dekoichi. That leaves me with 2 machines face up. So here comes the Fortress Dragon. But I do get to draw the card off the Dekoichi. They tag, I think they get a Darius? Yeah, okay, so they get the Darius, bring back Laquari, Fortress Dragon for a 2k. So now we Future Fusion for... Or Gold Sark for Future Fusion. We'll get out a Gachilotron Dragon. And we're going to get his Gladiator Beast off the field. Draws the Prisma, but the Prisma doesn't do anything because I assume he doesn't have the Test Tiger or what they need. Okay, so I will talk about that real quick. Ancient Fairy Dragon. So you can pop Gear Town with Ancient Fairy Dragon, gain the 1,000 life points, and then opt not to add a field spell from your deck to hand. And by doing that, you make it so Gear Town doesn't miss timing, so then you can trigger the Gear Town effect, getting your Gachilotron Dragon. Big thing to remember when you're playing a deck like this is Ancient Fairy Dragon is so good at activating Gear Town. Alright, so here we are. They got 3 back row, but I haven't done anything so far. Gachilotron Dragon's really nuts. Alright, so they scoop it up. Let's head over to game 2 here. We're on the second. We're going second again. Our hand is just absolutely bonkers. We drew the Future Fusion. We have the Heavy Storm. And then we draw Machina Force. So we can probably just go for lethal here, right? So we Heavy Storm. This is going to take a bit, but Future Fusion, reveal Chimera Tech Over Dragon, pitch everything. Jinzo Returners. Bring back another one, and our opponent scoops him up because that is lethal. GG's, opponent. I will see you guys in the 3rd match of Edison Diaries episode 1. Alright guys, here with the last match. So far we're 2-0 after beating Frog Hero and Gladiator Beasts. Pretty handedly, at least in the Gladiator Beast matchup. But so let's see what we're up against here in the 3rd match. As you can see, we are on the play. We are going first. This hand's fine. I mean, these Jinzos are like not great, but we need to go search up Fortress here, and then those Jinzos are a lot better. So there is, I guess I'll talk about this real quick. There is a world where you play the Fortress out and then like equip Gear Frame to it. I don't think I end up doing that. I think I actually end up doing something different. I think I just end up sitting on it because I like sitting on fortresses as long as possible with this deck because of how much OTK potential you have with this deck. So we will terraform to get the gear frame out of, or the gear town out of our deck. Actually, we'll throw out a gear town for shits and giggles. Maybe our opponent will think we're on ancient gear at that point, which is perfectly fine for our opponent to think we're on. I guess we're a similar deck, but... And then our opponent's on 6 Sam. They're on like a bunch of back row here. I don't know what's going on, but I draw a giant Trunade and I think I can just kill him here. Assuming giant Trunade resolves, right? And just speed this up here. Yep, it resolves. Gear Town goes back to my hand. We'll Gear Town, play a Jinzo. And the limit removal itself is game. Alright, so we're going second this round against 6 Sams. Our opponent gets like a really good setup here with the Grandmaster, Spirit of the Six Samurai combo. They're going to draw a bunch of cards off of us, and it's going to be really annoying, but so we dropped a Jinzo, even though it's going to die the Grandmaster, because I think we're going to go for Fortress by pitching Fortress Fortress is probably the play. Yeah, pitch Fortress Fortress, bring back Fortress, and then we're going to Suicide Fortress into the Grandmaster and pop the Spirit of the Six Sam. We take 100 and they draw a card, but you know, what can you do? But now our Jinzo is big enough to attack over Grandmaster. And all those traps in the back row just do nothing, I assume. They're drawing off of the Spirit of the Six Sam from killing the Fortress. I guess we forgot to do that. Alright, take 300. And let's put this in a little bit of overdrive. And then our opponent just cannot beat Jinzo, so we win. Alright, so that's 3 matches down, and we finished 3-0. I'll see you guys in the aftermath, and we'll talk about the deck one last time. Hey guys, here we are in the aftermath of Edison Diaries episode 1, here with JinzoMachinaSalvoTown. We finished 3-0 with the deck, 2-1 against Frog Hero, 2-0 against Gladiator Beast, and 2-0 against 6 Sam. I know it's not like best meta representation, but for Edison Diaries, I kind of just want to present it as a natural. Here's just the first 3 games I played with the deck. I don't want to curate games. I'll take the losses if I have to. I'll take the embarrassment if I have to. But I want this series to be just like a fun little thing to do for me to show off decks that I'm working on, whether it's a brew like this or if it's something like competitive, like maybe like a Frog Hero list or Well-A-Dad or something. So with that out of the way, let's talk about how the deck performed. We just OTK'd a bunch of people. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. We like the cards that like really shine in this, not shine, but the cards that I really wanted to show off are like Black Salvo and Scrap Recycler. We had Scrap Recycler game 1 of match 1, and I don't think we played it ever again. Black Salvo came up that one time we made, or that one game, because we got Book of Moon, and then the next turn we made Ancient Fairy Dragon. So, yeah, that's pretty sweet. I think this deck's great, to be honest. I think this deck's got a lot of legs. I think it does a lot of damage out of nowhere. I think it can play a little bit of a long game with the Machina Fortress stuff. Scrap Recycler is a great starter in this deck because it just does everything. No matter what your hand is, it can probably set you up to do something, whether it's sending something for Black Salvo, or sending to Koichi for Black Salvo, sending a Jinzo piece, or sending Machina Fortress. Sometimes you maybe even need to send like a Cyber Dragon to set up an Overload Fusion. Sending a Gajiltron Dragon's not like the worst thing ever. I've seen a situation where I sent a gear frame just so I could shuffle 2 gear frames back with its second effect to draw a card. So this card's just, I think, really powerful. Maybe not like broken or anything, but it's definitely underused in this format. What did I think of the sideboard? I didn't really get to show off a whole lot. Like I said, I just kind of beat people down really hard in the just real fast games. I think, no promises, but I think there's going to be another episode sometime soon about this list where we'll come back and we'll play a couple more games with it. And we'll keep working on this. This is one of my favorite type of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like OTK decks because it's so versatile. It's got a lot going on for it, but it's very flavorful as well with the just like Chimera Tech Over Dragon just destroying the field, and then like from that arises a dragon and some Jinzos. It's really sweet. So I would highly recommend playing this list. If you do, let me know in the comments what you think of it, and what you would change, what you would do different. I'm very interested in hearing. As of right now, I don't think I learned anything that I would change. I'm really happy with the main deck. Side decks to be determined. I could see playing the 3rd Terraforming somewhere in the main, like maybe cutting like a Dekoichi or cutting a Scrap Recycle. No, not cutting a Scrap Recycler. It'd probably just be a Dekoichi or a Black Salvo, one of the two. Dekoichi is probably worse than Black Salvo because you only need 1 Dekoichi to make all the Black Salvos work. So yeah, I could see cutting like this for 3rd Terraforming if you really want to guarantee you get those gear towns. But I don't know. I would say try this list out first before really trying to change things, because this one's been working really well for me inside this video obviously, and in testing outside of the video. So that is it for me here today. That is episode 1 of Edison Diaries, here with the Men with Widget. My name is Nick. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you guys for subscribing, leaving comments, doing whatever you do. I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing this because I love it. I have always wanted to create content. I have for over a decade now, and if my voice sounds familiar, that's because I used to be a part of a couple older YouTube channels when I was much younger. So I'm kind of back, and it feels great to be back. So I hope everyone has a great day, and I will catch you guys in the next episode, or the next video, I should say, because I don't know what I'm going to put out next, but we'll see what happens. See you, everybody.